Hello YouTube, RedAtMath here, and welcome back to the Red Estate. We've got a couple of introductions to be making before we get started today. We have renamed a few of the residents of the manor. I'd like to introduce Jack Douglas, our newest Houndmaster. Kavoth, our latest and greatest Jester. Kane, as named after Kane Coach 2007, is our newest Crusader. Mr. Lizriel, I presume, is our newest occultist. And named after Rifles and Roses, I've gone ahead and gone with Rose, as I thought that more appropriate of a lady. Now, there's a few characters, of course, de-stressing. I've got Reynald here as our first patient / victim of the sanitarium. We're taking kleptomaniac off of him. It's probably already cost me more than 1,300 gold that he's had it, and so it's an easy choice for something we need to get rid of sooner rather than later. I also want to show a few of the upgrades that have kind of happened. Mostly I've spent all of my crests upgrading just some of the gold costs of things like the Abbey and the Sanitarium. I've also gone ahead and upgraded the Stagecoach max roster size one more step, so we can do a little bit of recruiting at the end of this episode. The other thing that I need to be kind of conscious of is this early game economy. There's some very critical opening steps that I think we need to make in New Game Plus, where we've got quite a bit of a time limit. And with that in mind, let's pop into the embarkation screen, kind of look at what is now available. So we can visit all 4 regions now, which is good, but I think one of those regions shows a clear advantage, as these are all short missions. We don't have a lot of time for dilly-dallying when it comes to the XP that we're going to be gaining. And so that, combined with the added need for deeds right in the opening game, I think the medium quest offered in the Weald is going to be the clear winner. Speaking of those deeds, something I just kind of want to show off here. So the blacksmith needs deeds to be upgrading weapons and armor, and the stagecoach needs deeds to be upgrading roster size and the stagecoach network. I've already mentioned the barrack size for increasing our roster is going to be pretty important to us in the beginning. But we would like to get, I think, an early upgrade to the blacksmith so that we can have something to sink a little bit of our extra gold into. Now, one thing that I see a lot of people struggle with in the game's economy and leveling, they talk a lot about how they've gotten their first party up to level 3, and they're finding that they're completely useless. They don't have enough gold, they don't have enough deeds, crests, etc., to be upgrading weapons and armor to a point that those guys are useful to them, and so they're just sort of benched for a while. Now, I think what we want to be doing is we want to get a full roster just as soon as possible so that we can very evenly level up all of our characters and kind of tackle all of the level 1 content, then all of the level 3 content, then all of the level 5 content, and then the Darkest Dungeon. The benefit of doing it that way is you get a little bit of extra time. By the time you've done all of the level 1 bosses, I don't see a way that we still find ourselves lacking in enough deeds to get rank 2 weapons or rank 2 skills, that sort of stuff. So I think the Stagecoach network is going to get a little bit of our priority, because upgrading the blacksmith comes with a corresponding cost of gold, whereas recruiting new members to our roster does not. Also because there's a little bit of RNG as far as who we have available to recruit, as far as what classes, and a roster of 20-something jesters is probably not going to win us the game. So we need a little bit of time to pass there just so that we can recruit the people that we need to recruit to move on. All right. Speaking of moving on, let's go ahead and check out who we're going to be taking with us. I think this is going to be a little bit of a mix of our new and our old. The reason being, I'm not super confident, although this would make actually a pretty decent party composition, I could totally throw these guys together, and they would be fine. I don't necessarily welcome the idea of taking them into my first medium mission when they're all level 0. They'll be starting with a little bit of stress. With that in mind, let's go ahead and grab Mr. Lizriel as our group's healer. And because both he can inflict bleed and we're heading into the Weald anyway, which has a nasty habit of both bleeding and blighting, I think Wildehild as our Plague Doctor makes a ton of sense, although she does not have battlefield medicine. So let's remedy that. Pop into the guild, and we'll just go ahead and unlock that. Okay, and our tutorialization that we can remap our skills, which we totally know about. Any of this worth upgrading right now? 4 for 3, increase the chance. Yeah, it's just accuracy upgrades right in the beginning. Let's hold off on fully upgrading skills for right now. And then Rhapsody, you really want to be up front, right? With Iron Swan? Yeah, you do. Okay. Something like that. And then we would need somebody in our second party. Or our second slot. Let's consider another level 1 character. Dismas makes a ton of sense there. His pistol shot, his open vein, his grape shot blast all work pretty well. Also, we get to be Merciless, which is pretty neat. I think these guys can work. Gonna have Abyssal Artillery, gonna have Weird Reconstruction. Those will be his go-to things. We got Plague Grenade, we got Blinding Gas. It has been pointed out, and I have totally taken note of, Disorienting Blast is like way better than it ever used to be. It's now like every utility skill all rolled into one. It shuffles, it stuns, and it clears all corpses. So, yeah, totally great. I think I can take off Emboldening Vapors to replace with Battlefield Medicine. I'm pretty comfortable with that change. And Dismas, as much as I love Point Blank Shot, I think for right now we're going to keep you with the Open Vein, Pistol Shot, Grape Shot Blast. Those are going to be your primary skills. Rhapsody, you've got Wicked Hack and Iron Swan and Breakthrough. Those are all totally great. Let's go ahead and unlock Barbaric Yop for you, so you can realize a little bit more of your true potential. And then we will remap Bleed Out for Barbaric Yop. Now we have the ability with 2 of our characters to potentially stun all 4 enemies in a single turn. That'll be a huge advantage for obvious reasons. Also, opening trinkets. Man, got a couple of Unholy Slayer rings. That's cool. Max HP but less speed. Virtue Chance, debuff resistance. None of these seem all that great for where we're headed. The only one maybe debatable would be the Health Stone, but I don't think we've got anybody that's particularly tanky, and so we're probably just going to leave that off for right now. Alright, this is going to be our crew. Let's go ahead and pop into our provisioning screen. We got an explanation of firewood. The fact that this is our first medium mission means that we will be camping while we're out there, and that'll be introducing some new mechanics. I always like bringing plenty of food. What can I say? I'm a fat kid at heart. It's fine. And we're going into the Weald, so shovels make a ton of sense. They're curios to interact with, as well as thorny thickets that we'll need to be dealing with. We'll grab a couple of anti-venom and a few bandages, and then, say, 2 medicinal herbs. No real need for keys in the Weald, and there is some holy water, right? I believe we've got the potential for troubling effigies, which give positive quirks. That's not really something I'm that interested on spending gold on. You know what? Let's grab one. We'll see if the cost benefit of that pays out in the end. And then for a medium mission, let's say 10 torches. That should totally be enough. That is the majority of our current funds, but we should come back with plenty more. Go ahead and embark, and maybe we can find out some of those unique challenges that each region has. Assemble your party and supplies accordingly. Fair enough. We've tried to do that. It's the main reason that Wildehild is coming along with us is her ability to remove bleed and blight, of which the Weald has a plenty.
I knew all these paths once. Now they are as twisted as my own ambitions.
Yeah, another one of the unique challenges of this area, I would certainly say, is going to be its room layout. It is often very unforgiving. That's what we've got here. We've got a lot of branching paths. Makes the most sense, I think, to clean up this little short stent right behind us so that we can reduce the backtracking that would otherwise be necessary. And we'll find out what it has to offer. All in all, pretty quiet hallway. I'm okay with that. All in all, pretty quiet room. I'm okay with that too. Okay. And it couldn't stay quiet forever. Alright. Some bone rabble, which is fine. Let's see here. I think we stun the ectoplasm early on. Or we fail to stun the ectoplasm early on. He's going to be our priority simply because he has the ability to summon extra enemies, and I'm not about that. We did manage to land the 6 out of that 3 to 6. Pretty excited there. Ugh.
A death by inches.
Little disappointed to have not gotten that kill, but it actually doesn't come back to haunt us as she dodged his attack. Alright. Now, battlefield medicine here. Down 3 HP. Let's just get her back up to full, as I believe Dismas is going to have no trouble dispatching these guys. Let's just do that.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
The double crit, very nice.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Relieves a little bit of that starting stress. Rhapsody, you had nothing to worry about. I know you're level 0, but you're totally going to be fine here. Alright, and the debuff should wear off before we get into any more trouble. Yeah, it's one combat round, but let's see if it... I think it's going to wear off as soon as it's her turn to act. What do I need to do here? I really hate these fungal artillery, and I feel like if you kill any of the front guys and they shift forward, they're even more dangerous if they have an AoE blight at that point. So I'm going to focus these guys in the back quite a bit here. I'm thinking I'm going to try to kill him with Iron Swan. So with that in mind, the blight chance is very poor there. Let's maybe go the blinding gas. If both of them get stunned, which they do, then let's do the barbaric yop here, and both of them get stunned, which is just going to give us a free starting turn. Now they may still act before we can do something, depending on how the speed rolls come out, but they didn't. Awesome. They're both at 9 here, so this won't get a kill, but it definitely softens them up for something like that.
Give them no quarter.
Now, it would be great if we had something that did a little bit of damage here. This has a very low chance of succeeding, but it does. It didn't do the 1 damage that I needed it to, though, so it's going to actually leave him alive, which I'm not super excited about. So let's go ahead and ensure that he doesn't get a chance to do anything to us. We'll soak up a rend.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
We've also added plenty of debuffs. Is that actually... No, that's from something else. Okay. I saw the plus stress, and I was like, wait, does that add stress to her? That's coming from another attack, clearly. Now... let's see about stunning you for a few turns. Beautiful. And then we can reconstruct her. We can make her stronger. Of course, she's taking 6 damage from the bleed. We'll probably be able to just take that off with Huddled's next action, though. Not too concerned. And let's just miss. That's exactly what I was gonna say then. Yeah, lots of bleed. Okay, the stress damage is coming from this guy. Alright. Clarified. Beautiful. Oh, and even more bleed. Well, tell you what.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
At least we can do that. I'm so glad that she didn't act first. He's got the stun resistance right now. So we'll instead just go for the solid damage. I would love to dodge out of that groping strike. Did not happen. Down 4, down 4. Look at someone you. Man, just consistent bleeds. I'm not super worried about 3. And we should have no trouble getting this guy 4 more damage.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Not bad. Disease resist, dodge. Got some deeds. I'm of that haul. I think I'm most excited about the deeds. I did not bring any keys because I'm silly, and I didn't really consider that the heirloom chests were present in every region when considering what curios were in the Weald. But that's fine. We still got some deeds out of it. That is our most important haul right now. We're gonna get 6 from just completing the quest, so to already have another 6, that guarantees the 10 that we would be needing for the sake of 1 blacksmith upgrade. So pretty okay there. Dismas, this is all you. Very nice, very nice. A trap did arrive behind us. Okay, a little bit of hunger. I'm okay with that. I'd say this first branching path went pretty well. I think we're actually better off than when we started, just based on stress alone. We've taken very little damage, and Dismas has got 2 stress, but we've removed the starting 20 from our other 2 characters, so I'm pretty okay with that. We got a branching path coming up, and some decisions to make. I'd say we are probably... we're going to be able to ignore, what, 2 rooms? That'll probably be that one, just so I don't have to backtrack across that. Let's see if we get any kind of scouting right here.
The light, the promise of safety.
No, not so lucky, huh? Okay. Well, in that case, let's do... Alright, I'd have to come back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and go down here. We'll skip that branch, go all the way down, come all the way back up. Probably camp here, and then do just that last leg. That'll be the plan. We have a plan. We can do this. We've gotten hungry an awful lot since the last time we fought. Clearly that last fight generated quite a hunger. It's okay. It's okay. Alright. Pretty quiet, which I'm fine with. The 90% explorers. I always find it a little bit strange how the difference between complete all room battles and 90% explore. You would think that the explore missions would be less combat focused, but I oftentimes find you have to do more of the dungeon and
ambushed by foul invention,
and end up therefore encountering more combat. And that's a little bit strange to me. I'm thinking we may end up like just letting our light level go down from here on out. Let's do it. We'll save probably just 1 torch have this one fight in a little bit of lower light. Hopefully it's the one fight. Let's get rid of you. Not quite. Ooh. Alright. Missile artillery it is. Wow. That is actually a really
powerful blow.
poor opening turn. Alright. We had to focus everything.
Slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
We had to focus everything we had just on getting rid of that Fusilier. He is one of my least favorite of all of the enemies, though. Maybe just due to a particularly bad encounter that I had with a Fusilier who managed to kill 2 party members in one shot like 150 episodes ago. We're down to 2. Let's do it. I'm just gonna get this guy completely off of my plate, and then we can focus everything else we've got on Mr. Bloodletter here. Now, Israel, I could really use some better heals out of you.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
I'm pretty okay with the way that went, so thank you. I would love to see a little less bleed inflicted and a little bit more HP. What do you got for me? Oh yeah, all you needed was a pep talk, man. I know, sometimes it's easy to get down on yourself. A little bit of encouragement goes a long way. Alright, Rain of Whips. Please, a couple of bleeds. Alright. Well, we did bring Hilda along for a reason. I'll tell you what, since she's going to be occupied removing a little bit of bleed damage, I figured it would make the most sense to try to stun him. That didn't quite work out, though. Do we do it again? Let's do it again. Okay. Greatly exhausting Rhapsody, of course. But I'm thinking this guy might be dead before he gets an opportunity to make any more attacks. Great thing about Battlefield Medicine, it cures both of them with just that one use. I feel like that's overlooked a lot, as you don't often have that kind of situation where both your Plague Doctor and another party member are taking damage over time at the same time. But in those situations, it is super helpful. And then just give like 1 HP back there. Alright. And
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
man, that line is incredible. The bigger they are, the harder they bleed. And nice. Scout. Scouts are good. We do know that we've got room combat. Let's see. So that is both an obstacle and a room battle. What do you say we ignore it and double back now? This is a medium mission, so 90% of rooms should let us ignore 2 rooms. With that in mind, I think that's going to be one of our 2 rooms. We'll just let the light come down a little bit, save ourselves a shovel, and watch our characters slowly gain stress walking through the hallways. Somebody did ask in a comment recently what claustrophobia did. That's what claustrophobia does. Those stress checks that happen, that character gains more stress from them than normal. And we are going to have a fight here. I don't think it's worth using the torches just for this. Yeah, would not have been worth it. Really easy fight. Okay. So let's say we try not to take any blight damage from you. Oh man, complete waste. Okay. Well then, 5 to 9. Let's see if we can just do that.
As the fiend falls, A faint hope blossoms.
So close, right? Left him with 1 HP. And all of our horrible things came true. That would do enough damage. So let's see if we get super lucky and can just take that off. Yes! Will to Hild. Your turn order there was impeccable, man. Alright. Great, great.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Speaking of some recent comments, man, do we camp here? Is that even 4 combats? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go for it. We'll remove a little bit of the
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
Okay, skill points, rest points. Let's go ahead and feast. You know, I've just had a thought. I think it would be cool if ending with respite still left did something for you. Reduced more stress, healed more. You know, you gave yourselves longer in the night to sleep. Of course, you would be taking the trade-off from not using all of your skills. But I think that could be kind of cool. Let's see here. We could remove stress damage. We could reduce torchlight by 100 now. But that actually became quite powerful. Heal by 50% and remove mortality debuffs. If you were to camp like when you had a character on death's door, that would be amazing. Stress by 25, but all companions increase. Remove diseases. Heal, remove blight. Nobody is diseased yet. Cross fingers. Let's just go with time-honored tradition, clean guns. Surprise chances changed. And then a sharpened spear. And then we could... Yeah, I don't want to give everybody else stress for you to get 12 back. Why not? We'll give her 4 combats worth of disease resist. Alright, it's something. It's something. Okay, we'll go ahead and rest here. We're ready for battle. Let them come. I do agree. I think our plan is working out pretty well, and I'm glad you agree with me, Dismas. Alright, let's take a nap.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
And immediately encounter a thorny thicket. Alright. Anyway, speaking of comments that have been recently asked and ultimately answered in the comment section.
Watch your step.
But why not go ahead and discuss it here as well. XCOM 2 is coming out tomorrow when you're watching this. So that's real soon. And the curiosity of whether or not I would be playing, that sort of thing. As my response to that comment stated, I personally am going to be playing the game regardless of me having any kind of YouTube channel, right? So, with that in mind, left luggage. This is probably key-worthy, but I don't have one. It's trapped, resisted. That might have used anti-venom as well. Wasn't quite sure, didn't take the time to look because I'm lazy sometimes. I'm sorry. So anyway, I am personally going to be playing XCOM 2. I loved the original, well, the original remake. Is that a thing that can be an original? The XCOM Enemy Unknown and then Enemy Within, which I thought brought a lot of really amazing content to the game. And so, my time is a bit at a premium here. Full-time job, doing the YouTubes. And so, if I'm playing a video game, to justify the time invested in that, and one of the reasons that I started making Let's Plays in the first place is I wanted to force myself to make time to play video games. They were a thing that I had loved for a long time that I felt like I had not really had the opportunity over the past few years as adulthood got in the way to spend time with, and I wanted to carve out time to do that. But my time is still very much at a premium, and if I'm going to be playing a video game, I pretty much have decided like I need to be able to record said video game playing in order to justify the time sink. Nice. That the crit specifically, like I'm more excited that removes stress than anything else. And so with that in mind, that means that there will be XCOM 2 on the channel. Really sad that there's nothing you can do here. Hopefully we get somebody else before. Web is actually like not terrible when it's not synergizing with anything that cares about marked. So yeah, hooey to you. All right, and that guarantees the kill. So let's just make it official. Nice.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
All right, so that is a really long-winded way of saying that yes, there will be XCOM 2 content going up on the channel. I think it, as you know, you can probably guess, it's the type of game that I would really enjoy, right? Like it's turn-based strategy gaming. I'm a huge fan, and with 5, let's see if we can kill you with the blight. We can. That leaves us to focus on you two guys. So we'll get 2 of you dead in the opening round. Hopefully the one other doesn't do any summoning. Well, it could have been worse. He could have called on a big guy. Still.
A decisive pummeling.
So yeah, I think it'll be, you know, a great fit for the channel. It'll be a game that I'm really going to enjoy. The caveat to that, maybe I should have left. Maybe I should have left him alive, as I could have tried to stun him with Will to Hill. Oh well. Okay, looking for a really big hit here. Yes! Thank you, Rhapsody. You delivered. Alright, so the...
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Alright, so the caveat there is that let's talk YouTube for a minute here, and some of you may not be particularly interested in this. I'll apologize in advance, but I mean, it's 500 gold. Let's drink that holy water. Okay. The truth, like of how, you know, YouTube exposure works, and your ability to gain any views or gain anything out of that. Let's continue adventuring. I'm not done talking yet. I'm sorry, video game. We're gonna go ahead and go back down to our final unexplored room. See how that goes for us. Maybe we'll encounter some combat along the way. So the truth of the matter with the way YouTube's kind of search algorithm works and the way exposure in YouTube videos works is that you're competing for search rankings based on how much YouTube thinks that the people searching for that thing want to see your video. And it bases a lot of that by comparing how many people have already seen your video and what they thought of it. Now, how to decide what they thought of it is an interesting challenge. It's based in large part...
Mechanical hazards possessed by evil intent.
Not so much on the view count that is so prominently displayed and that most of you are probably super familiar with, but instead on the overall watch time that the video has. And there's a large correlation between the two for obvious reasons. You know, if millions of people watch something even for a minute, it's going to have more watch time than something that a few thousand people maybe watched for 45 minutes. So what that means for me, this channel, and XCOM 2 is that I'm going to be a very tiny fish in a very big pond. Unlike Darkest Dungeon, which is an absolute masterpiece as far as I'm concerned, but is an indie title, and it doesn't have quite the same reach and popularity as something like XCOM 2 does. Now, alright, with that said, what that means is there's a much bigger audience for it. There's also a lot more people, with much larger YouTube channels than my own, that will be playing it. Oh, that's a rough miss. I really do just want to get rid of her. I don't want to take the stress damage. It's the only thing that's going to persist once we leave, right? There's no chance of us dying from
A
HP.
dizzying blow to body and brain.
Oh, wow. Of course, critical strikes like that may inflict more stress than anything the witch could have done to us. Okay. So, with that in mind, there's going to be a lot more people watching content for it. There's also going to be a lot more people producing content for it. And it's a game that, honestly, I'm already late to the party for. You know, I'm just a small fry, and there are people that have had review copies of the game for a month now and have been producing that content. They're much better positioned to see their videos viewed by other people. I hope, of course, that you guys that are watching right now are going to be here for that, but it's not something that is likely to...
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Is... Oh, wow. Out of room for gold. 200 gold is worth more than an anti-venom cashed back in. So we'll go ahead and dismiss that. So it's unlikely to be a game that really does much to actually reach new people for me. Okay, and with that, we're going to finally complete this quest. And
Paths and roads bring soldiers and supplies. Let them arrive unharried.
all right, all in all, not a bad haul. We're going to top out around 10,000 gold. I think the more important thing is the number of deeds that we're bringing back here. We also had a bang-up job on Cress. That's going to mean a blacksmith upgrade, which is super important to us here. Awesome. Resolve level up, and nobody suddenly became level 4. Most important aspect there. Ooh. Rhapsody, if I'm correct, I think you're actually both a gambler and a bad gambler, which is a terrible pairing that we're probably going to need to do something about. Soft is not great. Soft is not great. Cove Explorer is meh. Deviant Tastes is fine. Hard Noggin is okay. Alright, we'll go ahead and return to town. And before I start talking, I'm sure Wayne June is about to...
I see something long absent in the sunken faces of passers-by. A glimmer of hope.
interrupt me. So, let's just review. Of course, we had some level ups. Kleptomaniac removed. Jack Douglas has gone on a personal vision quest to achieve enlightenment. Jack, I had no idea you were so unfulfilled. I'm sorry, man. Come back to us. Come back to us. Coco observed unsavory activities and refuses to take part in organized prayer again. Witness. Okay. And Patrick, man after my own heart, went on a drunken bender and hasn't been seen since the previous evening. All right, fair enough. That's not the greatest thing. Two of our characters that did not come back from their stress relief this week. We'll have to make do without them for now. But that was a really decent run. Our first medium mission, taking 2 level 0 characters. I think we did really well. We came back with very little stress. We can probably just let these guys kind of sit for the week, and this will likely go away on its own. Yeah, 14, perfect. So yeah, let me just finish the thought before we do anything more. So that likely means that XCOM 2 is not going to really do a lot to grow the channel and continue to further it, which means I'm not going to be able to justify a lot of time spent into it. But I'm going to be playing it, and I hope to do a series on it. Maybe not 200 episodes, but something, and we'll have some fun there. Now, let's check out our stagecoach. Ooh, I'm very interested in this. Now, I only have 3 slots. I will. I was just thinking, I want to spend 10 deeds on the blacksmith so that I start to have a little bit of a gold sink. But that leaves me with 12 more. Alternatively, I could upgrade both right now, but I don't know that I have enough gold to sink for that to work. So I'm probably just going to do one or the other. You know what? Leave me a comment. What do you think? Weaponsmithing? Armorsmithing? What should we do first? I'm of 2 minds. Survivability is great, but maybe we DPS tank, and it's more important, that we're killing things faster so they don't hurt us in the first place. I'd love to hear your opinions on that. So that means, though, if we just do 1, then we have enough to go ahead and grab a roster size of 18. Now, this does put us up to 4 Vestals. We're starting to look a little bit like a nunnery, aren't we? And maybe that's not necessary. I'm not going to be doing quite the same 2 of every class initiative that I tried to do the last time. I think we've more than proven Vestals and Occultists are super critical. We have so many party compositions that need a healer to survive. We need 4 of you. Let's see what you got. Warren's Phobe, Resolution, Armor, Tinker. Ugh. It's kind of a poor haul. Clumsy, Clutch Hitter, Wheel Tactician. That's a bit better. Alright, let's look at these other guys. Bounty Hunter. Totally solid Bounty Hunter. Can stun, can hurt stun, can mark, can hurt mark. Yeah, what more could you ask for there? And a Man-at-Arms, who is both bloodthirsty and obsessed with sainthood. Healer's Gift is basically wasted. I mean, he does have wound care, but Unerring also, he has a ranged bellow, but come on, like, this is not the thing that you're Man-at-Armsing for. So that's fine. I think we'll end up with a Man-at-Arms.
The raw strength of youth may be spent, but his eyes hold the secrets of 100 campaigns.
Ooh. We'll end up with a Bounty Hunter.
The thrill of the hunt. The promise of payment.
Now the question is, do we... I think we do. I think we take both of the Vestals for now. I think we do.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting. A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
You just said that. That leaves us with 2 slots next week, and that's okay. I'm thinking we might end up dismissing one of them if things go really poorly. So keep that in mind. However, if you are interested, we have a Bounty Hunter, a Man-at-Arms, and 2 Vestals that could use some naming. So drop me a comment and let me know what you would like to see yourselves as. And we will do that in the next episode. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed all of my mad ramblings. This has definitely been a rambly episode. If you did, feel free to subscribe. There's way more rambling to come. Leave a like or a comment if you have anything to say about this or any of my other videos. And I will catch you guys next time.